What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Haak, the Five Deuce Gun. Welcome you into my page, man. And today, again, a different type of video. It's going to be another sports talk video. And pretty much giving my opinion on LeBron James pretty much being the scapegoat, or teammates of LeBron James being the scapegoat when things don't go right. Pretty much, after listening to the segment on today's episode of Fox Sports 1's Skip and Shannon Undisputed, there was a segment when Chris Broussard was on there talking about the potential trade and the percentages and the chances they give that the trade is going to happen with Anthony Davis and the Lakers by Thursday's trade deadline. The segment afterwards was Skip Bayless, Shannon Sharp, and Chris Broussard with Jenny Taft speaking on, LeVar Ball's comments about, Luke Walton being the worst coach ever, and that Anthony Davis is not a winner. And throughout that segment, they were speaking and things of that nature, and everybody giving their perspective opinion. Chris Broussard made a statement about, anybody, when they lose, LeBron is not going to be the scapegoat. Those guys are going to be the scapegoat. And I don't disagree, but it's just the way that he said it, as it's been said for years. It's not always what you say, but how you say it. So for me, it just made me think of this, so I had to just come up and just put this video online. What superstar player on a team that was labeled the superstar, the head honcho, was the scapegoat? We can go back to Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, when they didn't win the whole championship. If they lost in the finals, if they lost in the Western Conference or Eastern Conference finals, or if they lost in the NBA finals, the star player wasn't really the blame, the scapegoat, as they say, in that situation. When Michael Jordan couldn't get over the hump before he got Scottie Pippen and the rest of the squad developed in the NBA, and before he put on that muscle mass after he was getting beat down by the bad boy Pistons, it was not Michael Jordan getting the blame. Michael Jordan wasn't getting called this, that, and the third. Yeah, there was criticisms, but they were nowhere near the type of behind the back. And I say behind the back because it's like the media will say this, that, and the third about LeBron James and praise him, but then be talking about how much it's diva this and he's drama king, and nobody's the scapegoat. LeBron's going to place the blame on everybody else type stuff. And to me, and it's just my opinion, to me, again, what superstar player, when Kobe Bryant didn't have Shaq anymore and the Los Angeles Lakers weren't in the NBA finals and didn't win championships for multiple seasons, what critics were blaming Kobe Bryant? Before his Achilles injury, before the ankle injury that, sidelined him for a few games, and the season and a half with the Achilles, like, who was blaming Kobe Bryant and saying it's Kobe's fault and he should have showed up more and it's that and the third? Who was blaming Jordan when they couldn't get past the Pistons and until he bulked up and until they got Scottie Pippen and they couldn't win championships for 8-9 seasons before Scottie Pippen and the rest of that team was developed? Who was blaming Jordan? So, in my opinion, that narrative needs to either change and include the narrative that I just presented, or they just need to stop it all together entirely, because no superstar player, even, in different sports, gets the whole blame unless it's blatantly obvious that at the last 0-hour moment, that player made the mistake that cost him the game. I give you a case in point. Let's say in the Super Bowl, when the Eagles played the Patriots last year in Super Bowl 52, let's say that Tom Brady, during that last drive, trying to throw the ball in the end zone, Hail Mary in the Gronk, let's say he did that, but he didn't Hail Mary it to Gronk and it got dropped or anything like that, and it wasn't the last play of the game. It was about 2 minutes and 32 seconds left, and instead of throwing an incomplete pass to Gronk as a Hail Mary, Tom Brady threw a pass to Julian Edelman, but it was intercepted by an Eagles defender. Cornerback, linebacker, safety. You pick the position. And then the Eagles just ran the clock out kneeled it out, got a first down, kneeled out the rest of the clock, and won the Super Bowl. At that point, you could blame Tom Brady because he threw the game-ending interception that cost him the game. If there's 6.3 seconds left on the game clock in an NBA final, and LeBron James gets the ball on the inbound, and he drives to the basket, and there's a teammate on the wing wide open for a 2 or 3 point shot, pick your poison, and LeBron James chooses not to kick it to the teammate, he fake like he is, and then go up to try to lay the ball up, but somebody reached a hand in and snatched the ball out, like smacked the ball out of his hand, turn over the ball, game over, Lakers lose. It's over. That was game 7. It's over. LeBron James would have to be directly blamed for that, because instead of passing the ball out to the wide open man on the wing, regardless of who that player is, he decided to fake it and then try to take it himself. Whether it was because he heard the pressure of the media saying LeBron James don't be closing and he should take the last shot himself and close the game like Skip Bayless be pounding on the desk saying, whether it was a mental thing or not, he decided, no, I'm not going to kick it out like I always do this time. I'm going to try to take it, which is cool because LeBron James is a ball dominant player and he's pretty much unstoppable. So, he tried to go fake the pass and then go to lay it up, but the ball didn't go for the pass. He swung at the ball from the rip and it smacked it out LeBron's hand. No foul. LeBron's in there. Where's the foul? Like, there's a foul. But the game is over. They lost. You have to blame LeBron. You know what I'm saying? That's when you blame the superstar. If they were directly responsible. Patrick Kane is the last person to shoot in a shootout in overtime in the NHL game for the Stanley Cup Finals. And he's slicing and dicing and go to make a deke, but the goalie poke check the fucking puck out of his hand, and now they lose. You got to blame Patrick Kane. You can talk about all the intangibles of the game. You can talk about, well, in the third period, if they would have never allowed the Flyers or the Panthers to score, they wouldn't be in the position to be in the shootout. Man, I don't want to hear all that. Because the fact is, they are. Just like in college football or NFL, they went into overtime and the team that you didn't want to win won. And then the analysts will come on, instead of giving credit to that position, because that's a whole new game, sudden death, 0-0 basically. Instead of giving praise to whatever team held on to the defense and then scored on their offensive possession during the overtime period, they'll be talking about, well, we can't talk about that because, what about the fact that in the third quarter, Drew Brees had the opportunity to like, all right, bro, but we actually watched that third quarter. It happened, and Drew Brees wasn't able to accomplish that. But that overtime period had nothing to do with that. Again, if it was the last play of the game or it was the last drive with the last minute and something on the clock and Drew Brees threw a pivotal interception that led to them going to overtime, then they lost, okay, put the blame on Brees, but don't talk about in the second quarter when it was 2nd and 3, instead of running the ball to Kamara, they tried that RPO and they ended up throwing it to Taysom Hill and he dropped the ball. But if they would have just ran the ball, it would have been a first down with Kamara, this, that, and the third. How do you know? The same thing you said when somebody start talking and they saying all that in the third and it's not based on fact, or you don't know no better, you ask them a question. How do you know? You don't know because the play didn't happen and you're not on that field, so you don't know. That being said, if a teammate that's a superstar player, Tom Brady, Drew Brees, Patrick Mahomes, if they're in a situation where they got the opportunity to go up or tie or something like that, and that player who is the best one on their team, they're a superstar, whatever like that, is responsible for them losing, they throw the pivotal interception, they turn the ball over, they miss the puck, smacking it to the goal on a slap shot, one-timer, whatever it may be, you could blame that person. But don't say, oh, well, in a derogatory way, well, you already know if they lose, LeBron's not going to be the scapegoat. All the rest of the guys is. Well, when Jordan then wasn't losing, who was the scapegoats? I mean, when Jordan then wasn't winning from 8-9 seasons, when he got drafted by the Bulls, who was the scapegoat? Who was the bad guy? Who was if they would have just did this in the third quarter, or when they changed, if they would have substituted and put such and such there instead of putting them here, they would have won. You understand what I'm saying? So I just think that the narrative, all that, the way they say it, is not just what you say, it's how you say it. Because I don't remember Hannah Storm and all them on NBA on NBC and the Wild World of Sports on White World of Sports on Channel 6 back in the day. I don't remember all them people, Gumbel, Bryant Gumbel and all them, and Isaiah Thomas and all them talking about, you know, and on the NBA inside stuff. I don't remember them talking about how they was the scapegoats and this person was held responsible, but they was just always not like holding this person responsible, even though like they was the leader of the team or they was the obvious superstar or whatever like that. But ever since LeBron been in the league, even when he was just first drafted and he was on Cleveland in the beginning, it was just like holding the higher standards, all that in the third, and then like, oh, he got a reputation about himself. Now it's like a level of jealousy or a level of hatred based on the fact that this young man came into the league, don't get in trouble, don't be doing no crazy shit, ain't getting no domestic violence situation, not drug addict, not selling and killing motherfuckers. And they always, oh, well, he's making a monopoly of sports, and, you know, he came in with clutch sports, and he's making it okay for players to want to team up with their friends in the third, and he's making it a players' league. What's wrong with that? NBA don't got no guaranteed contracts like baseball and shit like that. What's wrong with that? Why can't everybody else could do it? Why can't LeBron come in? Why? Because he's the black boy that came in and do it? I'm not trying to make it a ethnic thing or racist thing, but if this was Steve Kerr still playing with the Bulls and he's doing his thing and helping the Bulls win games and championships, and he decided on the last year of his contract, instead of going back to win that 6th championship with the Bulls, he gonna go team up with his homie Matt Harpring and people with Stockton and all them at the Jazz to try to, you know, help the Western Conference team win the championship. Where everybody been saying that, oh man, that's bad, and Steve Kerr did this, that, and the third. No, they wouldn't have done that. If Larry Bird decided in them championship runs and series against the Lakers that he was going to not re-sign the contract and decide after he won however many championships beforehand, before he got his last one there, you know what, instead of being here and winning Boston, another one for Boston, I'm going to go somewhere else and try to help another team win a championship. And he went over and joined his friends on another team in the Western Conference and or in the Eastern Conference. He joined up with his friends that was good players and shit like that, and they created what they call a super team in that motherfucker. Would everybody been dogging Larry Bird? Hell no. If Jordan will have left the Chicago Bulls after them first 3 championships, and then instead of coming back to the Bulls and doing it again, he went to the Utah Jazz or something like that, would everybody have been hating on Jordan at that point? I believe so, because he's Michael Jordan, the black boy. But they wouldn't have done that with nobody else that was the white superstar. Jeff Hornacek would have decided to team up with all the rest of the banger shooters like Rex Chapman and all of them, where they had hated on him and said, oh man, he's monopolizing the game. He's making it okay for players to want to, you know, get out their contracts and move around. Yeah, they might want to do that. Some of these players are in markets where their team that they play for is not going to contend for winning a championship. And let's be realistic. We can talk about anything can happen. Any team can win. Look at some of the teams that are in the NBA and how they're constructed. Look at their rosters. Look at the Golden State Warriors and who's on that roster. And you honestly think a team like the New Orleans Pelicans with Anthony Davis and Drew Holiday and them and backed up by Jahlil Okafor is going to take that team out to go to the NBA Finals? Is not happening. And to be at the caliber of player as an Anthony Davis or Kevin Durant or LeBron James, if you was on that type of team, you're not going to want to stay there for your whole career and not win a championship. The whole reason that you're playing this game is to win a championship and to continue to win championships until you don't play the game anymore. So for me, it's like, what's wrong with players on expiring contracts or who's going to be free agents talking about, yo, why don't we just go play together in Miami, or why don't we just go play together in Toronto, or why don't we go play together in San Antonio? Like, do it. What's wrong with that? Set it up. Whether you got to get traded and have to be 1 year here until your contract expires and then you go over there as a free agent, whether you get traded and the team, you know, that you want to go to makes a offer respectable by the team that's trading you, and bam, we can give you that. You know, whether you're a free agent and you do the Chris Bosh, Dwayne Wade, LeBron James move, what's wrong with that? More players should be able to do that. No offense to LeBron James and the players of their caliber and the superstar people that's labeled superstars and stars of the league, but more players who are offered anything over $20 million a season should be able to do shit like that. It's a reason why you're getting paid that type of money. There's other players on that roster that play at your position, and sometimes they outperform you and perform better than you do. And they not getting paid $23 million a season. They getting paid 4.5. They getting $450,000 and shit like that. So, you know, put it in perspective. That being said, man, what's your thoughts? Holla at your boy, man. I thank you for watching the page as always. And partying, I would like to say be blessed and less stressed. Fear no evil. Stay vigilant. Holla at your boy, man.